Imagine standing in a room full of the most powerful people in Hollywood, watching a murder about to happen and being told to stay quiet because it might ruin the vibe. That is the chilling reality behind the final hours of legendary director Rob Reiner. Everyone saw the red flags. The guests were terrified. They literally had their phones out to call 911, but the police never came because the host personally stepped in to stop them. In the hills of Brentwood, a scene is considered worse than a crime. The industry tried to sell us a story of a sudden, unpredictable family tragedy, a quiet snap behind closed doors. But the truth is much darker. It didn't start in a bedroom. It started at a high-end holiday party hosted by Conan O'Brien. Sources are now revealing that the night before the bodies were found, the atmosphere wasn't festive. It was violent. Rob Reiner and his son Nick got into a massive screaming match that stopped the music. This wasn't a little family spat over drinks. It was a full-blown psychiatric emergency. It was so bad that multiple A-list guests were visibly shaken. They weren't just whispering. They were openly demanding that Nick be put on a psych hold. They wanted the authorities there immediately. But then Conan O'Brien personally shut the whole thing down. The host explicitly blocked his own guests from calling for help. He reportedly told the room, "It's my house, my party, I'm not calling the police." He actively talked them out of seeking help, choosing to manage the optics rather than the crisis. He didn't want the flashing lights. He didn't want the sirens. He didn't want the headline. Conan chose the aesthetic of a successful party over the lives of his friends. The LAPD later confirmed the unthinkable. 0 911 calls were made from that address that night. The bubble stayed intact. The Reiners said their goodnights and drove home. By morning, Rob and Michele were dead. The most disgusting part is the cleanup. Weeks later, Conan went on camera acting blindsided. He talked about how awful and shocking it was to say goodnight to someone and find out they're gone the next day. He completely erased the screaming, he erased the panic, he erased the fact that he was the one who stood in the way of a life-saving intervention. This is the Hollywood bystander effect on steroids. In the real world, you see a violent mental breakdown, you call the cops. In elite circles, the police aren't seen as safety, they're seen as a PR disaster. They would rather risk a double homicide than a leaked patrol car in their driveway. If Conan O'Brien had just ignored the rules and let his guests make that call, the worst that would have happened is an embarrassing headline the next day. Instead, 2 people are in the ground and a son is behind bars for life. It proves that in Hollywood, the guest list is more sacred than human life. But when the party finally ends and the lights come up, who's really left to clean up the blood?